Mr. President, thank you. I know in a couple hours we'll be voting on the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell now that we've been able to go past the filibuster of it. And I'd like to speak about that just for a few minutes. Partisan rancor seems to have seized the Senate on so many issues this year, but on at least this one count, I'm encouraged and I'm hopeful. There is yet sufficient bipartisan agreement to repeal the discriminatory Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy before this Congress ends. And I commend the senators who have pledged to support the repeal. Of course, I renew my own commitment to this worthy effort. It is well past time to put an end to this discriminatory and harmful policy. Today in the United States Senate, the stage is set again for one of the major civil rights victories of our lifetimes. In years from now, I hope that historians will give good cause to remember this day as a day when the two parties overcame superficial differences to advance the pursuit of equal rights for all Americans. After much effort and just as much study and discussion, the Senate will finally proceed to an up or down vote on repealing this counterproductive policy. For too long, we have said, let's vote maybe. It's not quite ready for a vote. Let's keep the filibuster going. Well, Mr. President, I think most Americans expect United States senators, after all, there's only 100 of us, they expect us to come here and either vote yes or vote no, not vote maybe. A filibuster is voting maybe. So senators who keep saying, I want to think about it more, I want to go longer, we've had years of study. This afternoon, Mr. President, it's time for every man and woman in this body to step forward and vote either yes or no. And for those who still harbor concerns that enacting this repeal would somehow harm readiness, one simple fact is the clearest answer. Gay and lesbian Americans already serve honorably in the U.S. Armed Forces, and they've always done so. There's no doubt that they've served in the military since the earliest days of the Republic. The only reason they could do so then, and now, even under today's discriminatory policy, is because they display the same conduct and professionalism that we expect from all our men and women in uniform. They're no different than anyone else. They should be treated no differently. As one combat veteran said, I don't care whether the soldier next to me is straight or not. I care whether he can shoot straight or not. And ending this policy will bring to an end years of forced, discriminatory, and corrosive secrecy. Giving these troops the right to serve openly, allowing them to be honest about who they are, will not cause disciplined service members to suddenly become distracted on the battlefield. It is pandering to suggest that they would be. But that's not only my view. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Admiral Mullen, has said time and time again that this is the right thing to do, that will not harm our military readiness. Mr. President, gay soldiers and straight soldiers have fought and died for our country throughout the history of this country. Gay soldiers and straight soldiers have fought and died for our country in Iraq and Afghanistan. I think of one of the editorial cartoons showing parents at a military graveyard, and they're looking at the grave of their son. And one says, they didn't ask. And the other said, and he didn't tell. Look at this. Look at this, Mr. President. Look at this. 3 coffins draped in flags. And the caption is, which is the gay one? Mr. President, like so many other senators, I've walked on a quiet day through the graveyard at Arlington National Cemetery. I've seen dates going back long before I was born. I see people who've died in our world wars, who died in Korea, died in Vietnam, who died now in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now look at the names, some from my own state. And like everybody else who walks through there, I think of the sacrifice of these people and the sacrifice of their families, the life that would not be lived, the children who might not know a parent, the brother who might not know a sister, or a sister might not know a brother, parents who are burying their child. And of course, in the natural order, children bury their parents. Here, parents have buried their child. Does anybody look at those graves and say, move this one? Because we just found out that soldier who died in battle was gay. Mr. President, if anybody asked to do that, there would be an uproar in this country. So I ask, why any question about them serving? Every member of our armed services should be judged solely on his or her contribution to the mission. Repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell would ensure that we stay true to the principles on which our great nation was founded. We ask our troops to protect freedom around the globe. Then isn't it time, Mr. President, that we protect their basic freedoms and equal rights here at home? Throughout our history, the Senate has shown its ability to reflect and illuminate the nation's deepest ideals and the nation's conscience. It is my hope that the Senate will rise to this occasion by breaking through the partisan din to proceed to debate, as we have, and now vote on repealing this discriminatory and counterproductive policy. Mr. President, I see my good friend and neighbor from across the Connecticut River, Senator Shaheen, and I see my friend and colleague, and I apologize I did not see him, the senator from North Dakota, and I know he's waiting. I'll yield to him, and it's my understanding Senator Shaheen will be recognized after Senator Thune. I yield the floor.